Whether you wake up at 5, 7, noon, whatever it may be, we always seem to have those spurts throughout the day where we get extremely tired, we don't feel like doing anything, and sometimes we just might end up getting tired and not feel like doing anything for the rest of the day. And for me, I've been waking up at 5 a.m. pretty much every day for I don't really know how long now. It's been quite a few years, and I've just been consistently waking up at 5. And don't get me wrong, I do have those days where I get extremely tired. I don't feel like doing anything for the rest of the night, and sometimes that does happen. But I would say for the majority of the time, I feel like I'm pretty well awake, and I'm just cruising along, doing the stuff that I need to do, crushing out my tasks, working, and doing all those various stuff that I need to do. And I'm not just gonna go say, drink a bunch of coffee or get a bunch of caffeine in you, because currently I don't drink any caffeine. So it's gonna be a little bit different than just go out, drink a bunch of coffee, and then you'll be fine. And there's nothing against caffeine. I was actually listening to a podcast, and this guy was talking about different drugs, and he was saying caffeine's one of the few drugs that he actually says is good for you, and it doesn't really have any downsides. The only downside is that it may affect your sleep later on in the day, because when you drink caffeine or have caffeine, 12 hours later, I think it's a quarter or maybe half of it is still in your system. So even though you do drink coffee, say, even at 10 o'clock or noon, it's still going to be in your system 12 hours later. So that's the one downfall to caffeine. But I do have some different ways that I do for myself that keeps me awake during the day that I think you can implement on your day. And it doesn't matter what time you wake up. If you wake up at 5, 7, noon, 2, whenever it may be, you can just do this stuff or do some of them, and it should help with your energy levels. The first one that I would say that not only is important to giving you more energy throughout the day, but it's also good for your general health and the longevity of your life, is having a good diet and getting a good sufficient amount of nutrition in your diet. So that means eating your veggies, eating some fruits, and it's just maintaining that healthy lifestyle and not really eating out at, say, McDonald's or Burger King or anywhere that doesn't really promote very healthy food and nutrition. So just trying to cook a lot more of your meals instead of eating out. I know eating out can still be good to just get out and socialize and be with your friends and that stuff, but you don't really want to overdo it. You want to cook majority of your meals, and you want to cook healthier food. So like I was saying, is just eating your fruits, eating your veggies, and not really snacking on those artificial sugars, because that sugar might give you that little boost at the start, but then it's going to have a crash later on. You want to have natural sugars, say like oranges or apples, that just comes from fruits. And you want to make sure that you're eating a well-balanced diet that has a lot of good nutrition in there. And it's not just about what you eat, it's also about what you drink. You want to make sure that you're drinking a lot of water. Me personally, I pretty much only drink water outside of the smoothie that I have in the morning, and then I also have a chamomile tea before I go to bed to try and just get my body to wind down. So basically all I drink is water, and I know this can be tough. I used to drink a pop a day or soda depending on where you are in the world, but I used to drink a pop every day, and that's just terrible for you. And what I thought to myself is I need to stop doing this, and I just basically went cold turkey with it, and I just switched everything over to water, and pretty much all I drink now is water. Whenever I'm out to eat, whenever I'm eating at home, whenever I just have a drink on my desk, whenever I'm working, it's usually always water. You can just add a lemon in there if you don't just like plain water. It'll give it a little bit more taste to it. And then you could also maybe use like Mio or Crystal Light or just different stuff like that to add a little bit of flavor to it. But I would recommend drinking as much water as possible and eating your fruits and veggies and getting a well-balanced nutrition in. The next one that I would say is having a good consistent routine where you wake up at the same time, you go to sleep at the same time. You can vary it a little bit, but you want to make sure that you stick around the same time and your body can get adjusted to that and get into that circadian rhythm where it knows what time it's going to bed, it knows what time it's waking up, and it can just get used to that, so it's not really fluctuating all the time and it's not sure what time it's going to be waking up at. And that kind of plays into getting really good sleep, because you want to make sure that you're getting as good a sleep as possible. And I would say at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep, because that's what doctors typically recommend. So that's what I would say, just kind of find where your sweet spot is and then get that recommended amount. I think I try to stay around 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep. And the hard part about that is waking up at 5 a.m. every morning. I have to go to bed at 10 p.m. So it's just making sure I stay on that consistent routine. You just got to find what time you go to sleep every night and then wake up about 7 to 8 hours later. And you want to try and stay within that rhythm, because sleep is extremely important, and it will give you a lot more energy if you get good, sufficient sleep and not just poor sleep. And that brings me into another point to try and get the best sleep you possibly can. For me, if I take a nap throughout the day, I have terrible sleep at night. Like the other day, I took a nap. It was a quick power nap, and I was hoping it was early enough that it wouldn't affect my sleep at night. But that night's sleep was absolutely terrible. I woke up throughout the night and I was just tossing and turning, and it was just a brutal sleep. But that led to a tired day the next day, and what I had to do was power through that day so I could get to bed that night and I would have a good sleep then. And it's also another thing to try and avoid stuff that will keep you awake at night. So you don't really want to have that caffeine late at night because that might affect your sleep as well. So it's just trying to plan ahead and make sure that you get as good a sleep as possible for the next day so you're as charged as possible and you'll have as high energy levels as possible. The next one that I would say, if you are similar to me where you sit at a desk all day and you don't really move around too much, you want to make sure that you're going out and getting your blood flowing, whether that's just standing up, walking around your house or office, wherever you work. It's just getting that blood flowing. What I found I do for myself is I do some push-ups every now and then. Sometimes I'll just do some squats to get that blood flowing and get that heart rate up to get a little bit more energy in me, because there are some times where I'm sitting at my desk and I'm just doing something extremely boring and I'm just like, man, I'm falling asleep right now. So I'll just either get up and walk to the kitchen or something, or maybe I'll just get up and do some push-ups. So it's just something to get your blood flowing, get your heart rate elevated a little bit to give you a little bit more energy. And some other things that you can do, say if you work in an office or you work at home and you're always sitting at a desk, is going outside, getting some fresh air, going for a quick 15, 30-minute walk, however long you really want to go for. It's just getting outside, getting your blood flowing, getting a little bit of movement in you. Or it's also exercising too. So that's another big thing that you want to do, is kind of get your heart rate elevated so it just kind of sets the tone for the day. I like working out in the morning. You can find whenever works for you. I find sometimes when I do work out in the morning, I do get a little bit more tired in the next few hours just because I just put so much energy into that. So maybe if you want to do like a midday workout or towards the end, but you want to make sure that you aren't having caffeine if you have pre-workout or coffee before you go and work out, if you are working out too late. So you want to be mindful of when you're taking caffeine, when you're working out too. And I heard that you're not supposed to work out or do something hard where you get your heart rate elevated too close to bed, because then you're just going to be a little bit too excited when you do get in bed and it's going to be a little bit harder to go to sleep. So you just want to try and plan out your day and exercise at good times that you find work for yourself. And the last one that I would say is do something that you truly enjoy. And I know we hear this a lot where it's like chase your passion or do your passion, do whatever you love and the money will follow. That's not always the case. We have to work these jobs that we don't always enjoy. And what I found we can do outside of that is just having stuff throughout your day that you truly enjoy doing. Say, for me, I like exercising. So if I plan it out, let's exercise at noon. So I have something to look for from 8 till noon or whenever. And that just kind of gets me through the day. So if you sprinkle in something that you truly enjoy, it gives you something to look forward to and get excited about. And I know for me right now, doing this drop shipping business, it's given me a lot of excitement. So after I finish work, I'm working on that. And just last night, I was actually working on it and it was 9 o'clock and I was in the groove and I was just kept on going and going. And I didn't want to stop, but I just had to because I knew it was going to affect my sleep. So I was doing something that I really enjoyed doing and it just kept me going. And even though I'd been up already for 16 hours, I still had a lot of energy to keep on going, but I knew that I had to go to bed because I was going to affect my sleep. So it's just finding different stuff that you could sprinkle throughout your day. Maybe it's something after work, in between work, whenever it may be. Just have something that you can look forward to that you truly enjoy. Maybe it's happy hour, maybe it's working out, maybe it's starting a business, whatever it may be. Just try and find something that you actually enjoy so it can give you something to look forward to throughout the day and just kind of keep you motivated and keep you awake potentially throughout the day. And I found that really works for me, especially after hours when I'm already been working for a while. It keeps me going during those times. So even if you do wake up at 5 or 7 or 10 or noon, whenever it may be, this isn't just specific to waking up at 5 a.m. Maybe if you wake up at 10 and you get tired throughout the day, you can just try and add or implement some of these stuff on your day and it'll help your energy levels throughout the day and hopefully give you a little bit more motivation when you do get tired or you do find yourself starting to doze off. And it's just doing these little things that can build up over time and help you get more energy throughout the day so you aren't as tired and you're able to work, say, 8 or so hours and not really be tired during those 8 hours or even longer if you do work those longer hours. So it's just kind of adding this little stuff in there and hopefully it gives you a little bit more energy. I know I may have missed some different ways that you can get energy throughout the day, but this is kind of what I do and what's worked well for me. So if you do other stuff, I'd like to hear what you do personally, and maybe that would work for me, and I'd like to implement it on myself, or maybe someone else could see it in the comments and that could help them out. So if you do have something that works for you personally, I'd like to hear it. And as always, thanks for watching, and let's level up.